Freedom marchers. Freedom family, freedom fighters was good. Sorry I'm late. Worked the widow. I worked the widow later than I thought I was going to work. Anyway, how y'all doing this evening, this afternoon, wherever you're at in the world? Terrence Bain here, and welcome to Freedom's March. Yeah, y'all know what it is. I'm on my way back to the crib, and I won't probably won't get there until about 10:30, but it's all good. It is all good. I ain't even tripping. So yeah, how y'all doing this fine Friday? I'm doing wonderful because I get to go home, and yeah, it's a beautiful thing when you get to go see your family. Probably give you guys a minute to get up in here, even though, yeah, y'all know what it is. But you know what? As a matter of fact, I'll try to pull up now that we got this ass to butt goddamn bumper to bumper traffic right now. I can pull up this video. Yeah, that was me. Um, yeah, that was me. I didn't really get enough time to, she only gave us 30 seconds, so I couldn't really go into in depth with what was going on with that. But you know, yeah, that was real shit. My grandmother was white on my mother's mother, right, was white, and yeah, she called me little N words every day, every time I pissed her off, which was damn near every day. Damn near every day I piss her off. She get mad, jump out of frame, and call me. The way she said it was hilarious, though. As I got older, the way she said it was such vitriol and such just hatred. Like it was hilarious. She would do her hands like this and shake and say, "You little N word," just like that. That's how she said it. Ooh wee. And so yeah, that's real shit. That's some shit that actually happened in my life. Now, as you guys come in, I'm going to try to find the points where he's talking this nonsense about gun control. Let's see. Skip all that bullshit. For all the people want to say it's a right to citizen, well, when you think of a well-regulated militia, here we go. Here we go. We're gonna get into this bullshit. Right to say, and of course not, because they have a base to protect. I think the issue boils down to is that, hey, how do we prevent this from happening? And that got nothing to do with, I don't know what you said with Pearly things. Excuse me, but that's why I said I couldn't really get into it. You understand what I'm saying? And it has a lot to do with it. The bottom line is Pearly things is a racist. Okay? Point blank in the period. I don't care what you're talking about. I was going to get into, you know, that I was going to relate it to that. But like I said, I didn't get the opportunity. And I'm not going to do it on this here live stream.
Hazard reported ahead on I-75
south
in a quarter mile. You're still
yeah, I'm not about to explain it here on this live stream. This stream is about something else. But I did a video about Pearly things already. The Pearly things is later, and it has nothing to do with that. But maybe I'll get into it, how it relates. Okay, because this is the point. I'm gonna get into the point. My grandmother is white, okay, and she had 3 children with the black man. Okay, 3 children. She fucked with black people, right? She was intrigued by black people. She had children with black people and all that good shit. And she was still racist. My own grandmother. And her father was racist because he cut my grandma off from the wealth that he had because she got some black dick and got pregnant. So just because Pearly Things fucks with black people and has her Africans does not mean that she's not racist. That's the point. All right. And that's what I was saying, that these people that defend her, black people that defend her, you know, they don't have that level of perspective because I saw it with my own eyes growing up. And that's just the bottom line to it. White people, black people, they can fuck with another race and still be racist, still have one, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, when push comes to shove, they will always side with their people. It doesn't matter what the reasons is, what the battle is about, what the beef is about. Most of them, some of them are going to choose their side, where they look like. That's the point. And if my grandmother had a choice between, if she was given the option to not be cut off in order to abandon my mother and her sons, I think she would have taken it to make sure that she got that wealth. Because her sister, even though her sister was doing the same shit, going down to the black neighborhood, going to the black clubs, and getting some black dick, she never got pregnant. She never had children with them. And trust me, my great aunt, she she showed us how opulent her life was, having not been pregnant by a black dude. So, and I would say that my great aunt was probably less racist than my grandmother because she didn't have that hatred to fuel. She didn't have that hatred of being cut off. She didn't have that. So my great aunt, even though she got her some black dick, she never got pregnant, never married one, and yeah, so she got to keep her inheritance. So, and trust me, she'll pick us up, take us to her big ass house with her goddamn Lexus or whatever the hell she was driving, and yeah, she had the bread. My grandmother didn't. She lived in a motherfucking one bedroom apartment in the hood. Okay, so there you go, Miss whoever that was, that's telling me that how one has to do with the other. That's what it has to do with it. You know. Anyway, so the clown shoe Lucas. All right. No surprise that he's a statist, right? But every time he goes into gun rights and all that shit, it seems he gets more and more idiotic and more statist about it, right? So, we know what happened in Nashville, right? With the tranny that situationed a school supposedly. We know that happened, uh, and of course everybody's talking about it. I was one of the first people to talk about it. Uh, almost not almost immediately, but soon after it happened, I talked about it. And of course, people are going to get political about it. The left, the gun haters, the gun right haters, they're going to come out and use this opportunity to push gun control. And what happened the day before this situation happened? Well, they were supposed to vote on a resolution to kill the new rule for pistol braces, the new pistol brace rule that the ATF illegally, we're not, no, what am I talking about? Illegally, no, uh, well, illegally, according to the U.S. Constitution, according to U.S. law, uh, they created a rule based on an interpretation of an SBR being in the NFA. And even though the NFA is in and of itself is unconstitutional and uh, an infringement on the rights of the people to keep and bear arms, They went against that. They went against the definition, created their own definition. We know what happened. And so, everybody's talking about it, blah, blah, blah. Here comes the clown shoe Lucas trying to have this balance. He does a video about it, trying to have this balance between the left and the right, trying to call both sides out for being overly political and ridiculous, right? But you get to the end of the video, and that's when he really shines on his level of idiocy, right? That's where his level of idiocy truly shines. The level of ignorance, the level of intellectual dishonesty really comes out at the end of this video, where he goes into gun control. Um, you know, and so I'm going to play that section of the video so that I can take each point that he makes and expose further how dumb he is and how ignorant he is and how much of a status he is and how he should never ever talk negatively about cops ever again, because this gun control he wants to push, who's going to enforce it but the cops? But he's always shitting on cops. He's always talking about how bad cops are bad, and I agree with that. But if you're going to do that, then how are you going to then say, oh well, oh shut up? How will you then say, oh well, gun control this, gun control that? Look, you're stupid, okay? And y'all might be wondering why I'm going in on the clown shoe Lucas like that, launching ad hominem. Well, because and he threatened my children. Okay, that's basically what happened. He threatened my children a couple years ago, and we both lived in LA at the time, and he even mentioned how he knew the places where I do my live streams, and he was going to come and smack my children up and have my children smack me up, basically threatening my kids, right? Threatening to put his hands on my children. Knowing that we live in the same county, we live in the same motherfucking city. So I have zero respect for the clown shoe Lucas. He's an asshat who can't wait until the XJ9000, which is a robot girl, comes out so he can actually be with a woman for the first time and feel like he's wanted, okay? Because this guy, let me tell you how I know that the clown shoe Lucas don't know how to deal with women, right? He does all this shit, Peak Game Tuesday and all this bullshit, tries to act like he's a ladies' man, okay? Listen, good looks only get you so far, right? Aesthetics only get you so far. When you get into it with a woman, she might even let you hit if she thinks you're an idiot and thinks that you're immature and all this other shit, but you're not gonna get any real play from this dude, right? Lawrence Rittenhouse was good. You're not gonna get any real play from the chick, right? Once they realize, well, this dude is on some other shit, right? That's what I think sums up the clown shoe Lucas in regards to women. That's why he loves cartoon women and robot women, right? That's why he hates women, but then at the same time tries to defend women in certain instances. So, oh shit, my bad. Have y'all been hearing me? Have y'all been hearing me when I was talking? Or what, did it just sound muffled? Anyway. So yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of an ad hominem rant on the clown shoe Lucas before I get into the meat of the thing. Yeah, I'm burying the lead because the clown shoe Lucas is an idiot and he deserves to have the lead buried on him. Anyway, so here's what happens. Because I know he don't really know how to deal with women in real life, because he does 20-hour live streams. He does 8-hour gaming live streams. Where does he have time to deal with a chick? You know what I'm saying? You still gotta sleep, you still gotta eat. You ain't dealing with chicks when you doing that much motherfucking live streams all in a row, continuous, okay? Number two, I knew that he didn't know how to deal with women, because he asked the chick that called in, how do I ask a woman for a hug? How should I Are you really asking for advice about how to get a hug from a chick? Like, that's how I know that you don't need to be giving no advice about how to deal with women. Okay, listen, you can't learn that shit. I know they got these pickup line books where and these guys are out here telling you this is how you got to talk real low and soft, and you know you got to all this shit. Listen, you just got to be real with a chick and fill her out as you're talking to her. You're not gonna bag every chick. Anyway, let me move on from that point. And then he was talking about in one live stream how he was dealing with a girl that he was dealing with this chick, right, that he liked. And he caught her still communicating with her ex. She was still hung up on her ex. And if you are in there with women and you can, if you really got that game with women, or not game, and if you really, if that chick is really into you and you know what you're doing with women, they're not gonna be thinking about another dude. So this chick was thinking messing, or I guess she was still messing around with this other dude. So you couldn't really capture her. Well, you probably captured her attention, but you couldn't keep her attention. Okay, so you know, when he said that, I was like, yeah, ain't no way a chick dealing with me and she thinking about her ex, or she thinking about another dude, and she hung up on another dude, and then apparently she told him, right? That's the ultimate form of like, that's the ultimate diss. Yeah, I'm still thinking about and hung up on this dude, blah blah blah. No way. I ain't gonna lie, that happened to me once, but it was a chick I had a one night stand with. Like literally, I met her at TGI Fridays in the Ladera Center. 3 hours later, she came to the house, and I blew her back out. And you know, after that, like there were no expectations. It was a one night stand. It was basically like I screwed her the same day that I met her, and she got back with her baby daddy. That was really the only time that some shit like that happened to me. And you know, I wasn't trying to keep her. Like, listen, you let me hit the first day I met you. Ain't no way I'm a main, or ain't no way I'm gonna deal with you on a serious level. But I did want to hit again because it was really good. Like, we had a really great session. Like, it was like really good. And yeah, she knew how to work it. She knew how to throw it back. When they throw it back on you, that's how you know it's real. Anyway, listen. So, like I said, the reason I'm going in on Lucas like that is because he threatened my children, and it wouldn't be a big deal if he didn't tell me, if he didn't live in LA and didn't tell me that he knew where I do my live streams at. And I'm sure he did, right? But after that, when I still lived in LA for like an entire year, y'all remember, I called this dude out every time I did a rucking live. So I used to do rucking lives, and I would do it in LA. I'll do it at the Culver City Lookout. They have some really steep stairs that goes up really high, and I call them out. Hey, you obviously shadow watch my motherfucking videos in my live streams. Come meet me up at the stairs. I won't have my kids with me, so you gonna have to put your hands on me. And I'll bring my gloves. I was like, hey, we can even get the gloves on. You know what I'm saying? All that good shit. And we get the gloves on, you know, we can, you know, do it like that. But he never showed up. Never came. Anyway, that's enough of that. So, dude does a video about the Tennessee situation. By the way, there was another Tennessee situation. I think it was at a mall or something, or at a restaurant, that they're trying to call a mass situation. But it had something to do with the owner having beef, or somebody worked there having beef. It was like two people going in on each other, and I think two people got killed, and so many other people got injured. Anyway, so he's talking about that. He's He's trying to strike a balance in criticism against the left and the right, whatever. That's bullshit, right? Whatever. I don't care about that. Whatever. Excuse me. Then he goes into gun control and how, yeah, we need to do gun control and all this, that, and third. So I'm about to play the video, well, the audio of that, so that I can, like I said, break it down piece by piece. And just really just, because the talking points, right? The shit he says, you can tell he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Or he does know what he's talking about, but now he's trying to be intellectually dishonest and trying to kind of like twist the shit because he knows his audience is probably going to be receptive to it because now he has more left-leaning audience. So we're going to play that real quick. You know, I'm going to be pausing it here and there to jump in and say my piece.
And it's a little ironic to hear the right say there's nothing we can do. Because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like the right say, anytime something like this happens, there's nothing we can do. Shall not be infringed, shall not be infringed. And I'm like, that's not the position they have on anything else. When it comes to drag queen shows, drag kid shows, or stuff like that, they put out laws banning that.
Wait a minute. He is, you see what he's doing? This false comparison. He's trying to compare drag queen, drag shows with kids. He's trying to liken that. He's trying to compare that to gun rights. What? The dude is wild, right? Drag shows and drag all that shit with kids, creating laws for that. Right, y'all know I don't believe in creating laws. You can't do that. You know, I'm anti-government, but to sit up here and try to say that they're in the same or at the same level of, you know, okay, so somebody took a firearm and killed some people, right? But, you know, there are so many other tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of people in this country that aren't doing that with their firearm, right? They're not doing that. But all drag, like, listen, it's you can't compare it, right? It's not the same shit. You know, one has, like, you don't have the right. First of all, you don't have the right to bring kids to drag shows. You don't have the right to do that. So, but you do have a right to keep and bear arms. One is abusive, one is child abuse, and one is having a right to protect yourself. So, yeah, that's dumb.
Regulations stopping that. When it comes to CRT or what they believe is CRT or anything like that, similar to it, they put out laws banning that, stopping that, right, from happening in schools. When it comes to...
And guess what? They shouldn't be doing that either, right? They shouldn't be banning, because CRT or whatever, you know, there's this narrative going around that, you know, it's harmful to children, like whatever. But again, it's not the same thing, right? It's not the same shit. As a matter of fact, they should not. That's something they shouldn't be doing, right? Just because they're doing that for that doesn't mean that it's right. So to use that to justify stripping people of their gun rights without due process and without them actually committing a crime, it's not the same thing. Like, they're both bad. You shouldn't be doing that shit. All right. CRT is whatever. If you don't want your children to learn CRT, keep their ass. Don't take them to that school. You don't want your children to learn about porn during school. Take that motherfucker out. Take your child out of that school, right? First of all, that is criminal to have those books in those libraries for children to have access to without the parents' consent and all this other shit. That's abuse. But, you know,
books that they don't like is like sex ed or something like that. Do they ever say, well, there's nothing we can do? No, they put out laws banning that, stopping that from happening. But in this one particular...
Why would you not stop children from having access
to pornographic books. Have you seen what these books say, or have you heard about what these books say? Have you seen parents at board meetings, school board meetings, reading these books out loud, saying, this is what they're saying in this book? Have you not seen that? Like, this dude is crazy as fuck, bro.
Their case, their hands are up in the air. Well, there's nothing we can do.
Nope.
And I think that's foolishness.
There's nothing that they can do. There's nothing the Republicans can do about creating gun laws, because that is a violation of a human right, period. To make matters worse, police arrest parent for trespassing when the parents speak out. Yeah, I mean, this dude is wild as fuck, bro.
Okay, I think that's absolute foolishness. I think a lot of people are obsessed with this gun culture, this concept of the Second Amendment. And I've already addressed, as far as many of the issues I have, with many people who want to say, well, the Second Amendment had to do with the right to citizens, yada, yada, yada. Now, I understand that there are Supreme...
Look at this idiot. The with the right to citizens, blah, blah, yada. Like, no, motherfucker. No, it says the right of the people, not the right of the citizens. All right. You know, to say that people are foolish for wanting for not wanting to trample on people's Second Amendment rights. Now, y'all know I'm not a statist, so they shouldn't be trampling on any right, right? I don't believe in Republicans or Democrats. I don't believe in politicians running your life. I don't believe in voting for a politician to run your life and create laws that is going to ultimately, at the end of the day, violate people. Like, I don't believe in any of that. And especially not a right to keep and bear arms. That is not something that they should be doing, period.
Supreme Court case. Or when it comes to the Supreme Court is not, it's not God. Okay, the Supreme Court can make poor decisions. It can be right and wrong, especially depending on your perspective. When it comes to abortion, for example.
Listen. The Supreme Court can be right or wrong, but the position of the Supreme Court is wrong in the first place. For them to interpret whether or not a law to interpret whether or not politicians have a right to trample on someone's rights, like, oh, well, they made this law, so let's interpret it and let's weigh it against the Constitution or whatever and see if the politicians are allowed to do this. First of all, the position of the Supreme Court, the position of the legislative branch, all that other shit is a problem, all right, because it was created to have a separation of powers. This shit ain't working. It's supposed to be checks and balances. Ain't no checks and balances, because it's all subjective at the end of the day. It's what whim the judge is on that day, right? So he's right about that, but still, right? We don't need a judge to tell us. We don't need a Constitution to tell us that we have a right to defend ourselves by any means necessary, using any tool necessary. No one has the right to tell you you can't use this to defend yourself or carry that to defend yourself. Oh, you can't carry that out in public. Oh, you can't conceal carry that, blah, blah, blah. Well, yes, I can, because I have no intent on harming anybody unless they try to harm me with it or harm me. I don't intend on using this weapon to kill anybody, to harm anybody, to injure anyone. No, I intend to use this weapon to defend myself if necessary. And I don't need you to determine whether or not that's really my intent. No, I don't need no politician, none of that shit. So all these talking points are really just nonsensical. It really is, because, no one has the right to tell you can't keep and bear arms, because somebody you don't know, it has nothing to do with you, went out and caused harm to other people using a similar tool. That's bullshit.
Example. Well, we saw that they changed their mind when it came to abortion. So the same thing can happen when it comes to the Second Amendment. Because for all the people who want to say it's a right to citizen, well, when you think of a well-regulated militia, if you go back to that time.
What's a well-regulated militia? What's a well-regulated militia? Okay, let's hear what he's saying.
It wouldn't include black people. It wouldn't include women. It wouldn't include the disabled. And it sure as heck wouldn't include...
It didn't include women and black people. Well, particularly black people. Let's not say women, because it doesn't say that it doesn't include women. And as a matter of fact, it didn't say it doesn't include black people. But we knew what they made it for, and they knew they did not have black people in mind when they wrote it, because black people were still enslaved. But here's the thing. That's why they added amendments to the Constitution, right? So that it could officially apply to black people, right? After they freed the slaves and all this stuff, when they did the Emancipation Proclamation with all that shit, after that, sometime after that, they added amendments to the Constitution so that black that shit later, right? And he's going to go into a well-regulated militia. He doesn't know what that means. We know what well-regulated meant back in that time. It meant a well-equipped, well-disciplined, right? Well-manned, well-armed, well-stocked. It didn't mean that the government get to come in and restrict shit and, tell her what it can't do. No, that's not what it meant. It's fucking asshat.
Any type of mental disabled. It wouldn't include obese people, because you're not having obese people on the battlefield fighting for your rights. That's not what's happening. So there are a lot.
What? Obese people wouldn't be on the battlefield trying to defend their rights? Why not? Obese people can't. Obese just means you're obese. There's levels to obesity. There are obese people that can run, even though they will get tired. There are obese people that could be in stationary positions, providing support by fire or cover fire from a distance. They might have a dead eye and be a good sniper. So they'd probably be good in the sniper's nest if push came to shove. And this is all hinged on the idea that the right of the people to keep and bear arms was dependent on them being part of a militia. It was not, right? Again, the independent clause was the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That was the independent clause. The dependent clause was a well-regulated militia being necessary for free state or whatever, for the security of a free state. That was dependent on people having the right to keep and bear arms so that they could form a militia. Just because it was the first clause does not mean that it was the independent clause. The independent clause was the second clause. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The right of the people. It didn't say the right of the fit man. It didn't say that. Because guess what? You're forming a militia to defend your freedom. You might have to go out into the battlefield or whatever. So you would want to send your most fit individuals. But in order to protect the home front, where your children and your family are, you want them to be armed as well, just in case the people that are fucking coming for you go to your house. Wouldn't you want your wife armed? Wouldn't you want your children armed if they had the capability? Wouldn't you want your fat uncle or whatever? No, this is dumb. This is dumb. His take is idiotic. It makes no sense. It's bullshit. Okay? It's bullshit, right? This is complete and utter bullshit. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. You did not have to be in a militia in order to keep and bear arms. There were women and all kind of people, old ass people, people in in armchairs, rocking chairs that can't really move that much no more. They still got the motherfucking what? They still got their shit on a lap on the Porsche, motherfucker. These people, the people had the right to keep and bear arms, point blank and period. And being necessary for the security of a free state, we need the right of the people to keep and bear arms to not be infringed. It's not dependent on the militia. You understand what I'm saying? The militia is dependent on the armed people. Being necessary, that's what lets you know. Being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It's fucking simple. It's simple English. Being necessary. That's what it's telling you. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, and that's necessary for us to be able to form militia to protect the free state. Period. All right, well regulated. You got that wrong. You thinking that in order to have the right to keep arms, you had to be in a militia. You got that wrong, because there are all kind of motherfuckers running around with guns that weren't part of militias. Okay, there were no gun regulations. Outlaws had them, cops had them, regular folk had them, kids had them. They all had them. No one was going around saying, "You're a woman, give me your gun. You're a boy, give me a gun. You're old, you're too old, you can't run 20 miles. Give me." No, none of that shit happened. He's full of shit. Idiot. Think he's fucking smart when he's not. These people are getting on my nerves, man. These goddamn statements.
Those 5 factors, if you really want to go back to what a well-regulated militia meant at that time, those will all be excluded. Well, it seems that they don't have a problem making exceptions, right, when it comes to the Second Amendment, upon it for what it defines and what it excludes for those 5 groups.
Wait a minute. Does the Second Amendment exclude anything? So he's talking about what the Second Amendment excludes. What exactly does it exclude? It doesn't exclude those 5 things. It doesn't mention that. There's nowhere in the Constitution does it say if you're fat, a woman, black, in a wheelchair, you know what I mean? It doesn't say any of that, because all those people can still fight. They can still fight. They're just not a part of the official militia. And again, this whole militia shit is listen, it's idiotic, okay? The whole militia narrative. Oh, you gotta be in a militia. You gotta be able to be in a militia. First of all, it's not the army, all right? It's not the government army. It's not the motherfucking, none of that. The militia consists of regular folk who aren't part of any military. They, you know what I mean? They're, you know, field hands. They were farmers, coal mine workers, right? 49ers. They were gold miners and all this other shit. They were not motherfucking, you know what I mean? They might train every now and then, but I mean, they were working. These are working people. These people had to make sure that their chickens wasn't being slaughtered by foxes and all kind of shit. These people, I mean, they had a certain level of fitness, but they were not expected to be goddamn, you know, super fit like that. A militia is there in order for people to form up and defend what they had. Defend their freedom, defend their territory, defend their homes, defend their children, defend their families. Together, the community as a whole, coming together. They weren't like, do you got gout today? Oh, no, you do? Okay, you can go back there. Give me your gun. You can't have one. Go hide somewhere. And then when they come for you, you just got to get slaughtered. No, that's not how it fucking worked. This fucking guy. I think he's fucking smart. Fucking idiot. Ugh.
So if you're willing to make exceptions for that and stretch the definition of the Second Amendment, then we can, as far as put some barriers to the Second Amendment. One thing I always advise, as far as
put barriers to the Second Amendment. Do you hear this fucking idiot? Do you hear this fucking idiot? Put barriers to the Second Amendment. Well, guess what? If you have to put barriers to the Second Amendment, it wasn't meant to have barriers in the first fucking place. First of all, so this is my problem with people who use the Constitution to kind of like as a shield to our right to keep and bear arms. No, it's not a shield. What it is just telling you, yo, this is what you can't do. This is what it's telling the government that. It's not giving us the right. It's not doing that. That's why I hate when Tim Pool says, well, if you want the gun, go. If you want the gun thing to change, you got to change the Constitution. No, that's not how it fucking works. Okay? The Constitution doesn't give you fucking rights. It doesn't. And the damn sure don't give you a right to keep and bear arms. It recognizes your right, and it tells the government you can't fucking trample on that. And they've been trampling on it. Because idiots like him who believe in this narrative that, oh, well, you just gotta, if you do, well, he'll go into it. His little stupid ass suggestions. Oh.
First, training. Most of these people who have guns should not have guns. To say that everyone should have a gun, no. And I think that's
who determines who should not have a gun. And this whole training shit, listen, you should train with your firearm. You should train when you get your firearm. You should do some training. And guess what? Most people who own guns and are good people that don't intend to harm anyone with their guns, they do train. They do train. They just don't need the government to tell them that they should train or to tell them that, oh, you need to train before you get your gun. No, that's not how it works, right? Yes, people should train. I advocate to train for training. It's all good, right? But that should not be a determining factor on whether or not you have your rights, okay? He's about to get into some more stupid shit.
The training comes into play. You should have to mandatory pass some type of evaluation annually, okay?
What type of evaluation? Who's going to determine what's on the evaluation? Who's going to interpret the evaluation? A human being with subjective views? What's going to be a part of evaluation? You go on somebody's YouTube, you go on somebody's Facebook, oh, they said something maybe anti-government. Oh, well, this guy is dangerous. Who's going to determine that? I mean, it's just the idiocy, right? The idiocy. Idiot.
When it comes to having a firearm, there has to be some type of training test, just as we have for anything else. Motor vehicles, right? Pilots, whatever. We should have a training where we can know that this person knows.
A pilot, a motor vehicle. You know, there shouldn't be training. There shouldn't be mandatory training for that either. And guess what? The training they give you, right? They only give you the training one time. They give you a paper test, and they give you a driving test, and you only do that shit once in your fucking life. You understand what I'm saying? And it's a short ass test, and you go through some short ass training. You take a short ass test. Like, come on, right? And you know, all these other things that they add to it, registration, that's bullshit too. It's all to get your money. No. Car registration, car fucking licenses and all that shit is just a way for them to get their money from you, okay? Because, you know, motor vehicles, right, would not be as proliferate right now if it weren't for government. The government created and expanded the ability for everybody to drive fucking cars with all these highways, you know, all this industrialization, right? To where, okay, people really don't have a choice but to drive cars. You know, people used to be on horse and buggy. Now, well, you got this vehicle, there were some accidents, so now we got to do regulation, we got to make people take tests. But guess what? People who take the test and do the training get in fucking accidents. They still get in accidents, and people still drive recklessly. They still speed. They still roll through stop signs. They roll through fucking red lights. They cut people off. You know what I'm saying? So really, at the end of the day, the people that want to violate these infractions, they want to drive fast, they want to, you know what I mean, drive recklessly. And then sometimes it's just a pure accident. You might be driving regularly. Somebody's tire blows out, and then your fucking shit gets hit. Right? These things happen with or without the training. You can, yeah, of course you want to learn how to drive a car properly because you don't want to get yourself fucking killed. Right? You're going to go out there, you're going to take it slow, you're going to find a big ass parking lot. I don't need the government to tell me that shit. I don't need the government to regulate, make me do this, make me do that. No. When my father or mother has determined, okay, that you drive well enough. Now, if you cause an accident, you're going to be liable. That's just the way it works, the way it should work. You cause an accident because of your negligence or because of your recklessness. Boom, you got to get motherfucking, hey, you're
Crash
responsible.
reported ahead.
All these
I-75
fucking
south in a
crashes.
quarter mile. You're still
You're
on the fastest
liable.
route.
You're liable. I get it. Yeah. Okay. You know, and if you know, I know people think insurance is a scam, but it protects you in case you get an accident. I mean, it's a scam until you need that shit. And I needed it once. It's all in how you look at it. And if you don't want to fucking get insurance, well, you're gonna be responsible for all the motherfucking damages. Right? And yes, in a perfect anarchistic world, good luck getting that motherfucker to pay. That's just how it works. You know what I'm saying? Won't be no court to protect you unless there is a community that volunteers to have a court do that. Like have a court determine whether or not, you know, you need to pay up. Anyway, anarchy is very complicated and simple at the same time. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on because I don't want to get in anarchy right now.
How to use this gun in a proficient and effective and safe manner.
Guess what? Same with cars. People who are trained to use firearms safely and properly still have accidents. They still go out and kill people, right? And guess what? Only the people that are going to only the law-abiding citizens are going to go with what he's suggesting. The criminals are still gonna motherfucking get their shit on the street, or they're gonna steal it. And guess what? They don't give a hot shit. They're not gonna go to training first. They're not gonna get trained. They're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? They're not gonna do that. So, I mean, shit is idiotic, man.
Upon you passing that, great, you get to have a gun. If you don't, I'm sorry. There's a barrier.
What an idiot. You get to have a gun. Sound like a big fucking, sound like a damn tyrant. That's what he sound like. Sound like a straight tyrant. You get to get a gun. You get to use a tool. Well, guess what? You can go get a nail gun right now. You don't have to do any of that. Listen, the bottom line is he's an idiot, and he's coming with these tired, unoriginal talking points, and has no idea what he's talking about, and you know, hates to write so much that he's willing to convince people that their right to keep and bear arms shall be infringed.
To entry because you have not proven yourself to be competent in your Second Amendment right. You have not proven yourself to be included in that well-regulated militia. In addition to that, I don't have an issue with...
Here he goes with well-regulated militia. What a fucking asshat. What an asshat. First of all, he's never been in the military. If someone, you're at the firing range, you're training to use your rifle. Let's say you suck at it. Let's say you, the first time, I forgot how many targets you had to shoot. I think it was like 32. You had to get so many out of 32. I was an expert, so I got all of them. I don't remember exactly how many. But let's say you don't pass the first time. They're not going to say, oh, well, you know, give me your gun. You got to get out of here. They're not going to kick you out, right? They're going to train you up a little bit more. And when they determine, yo, you can't be part of this man's army because you can't shoot for shit. You're going to get out and you're still going to be able to go get a fucking gun. Okay? How it works. But let's say you just needed to, you know, brush up on some shit, practice a little more, and then test again. Boom, you can stay in this man's army. That's what you would do in a militia. You're not just going to sit up here and just, oh, well. And first of all, again, you being part of you having the right to keep bear arms is not dependent on whether or not you can join a militia. Okay? What an idiot.
Red flag laws to a certain extent. When it comes to friends.
Red flag laws. Hold on, I gotta rewind that because he said he believes in red flag laws to a certain extent. To which extent, Lucas? To which extent?
I'm sorry. There's a barrier to entry because you have not proven yourself to be competent in your Second Amendment right. You have not proven yourself to be included in that.
Stay in the left 4 lanes.
In addition to that,
you don't have to prove anything to have your rights. You don't have to show people shit. You don't have to prove competency to have a right. You have to prove competency to have your right to free speech. You have to prove you're competent. No, you can be as much of an idiot as you want, just like this fucking idiot. He's proven his incompetence right now. He's proven how incompetent he is in determining how rights work. Okay? He thinks that you can place barriers in front of rights until you prove yourself, until you prove you earn your rights. He's incompetent, but he can still say the dumb shit he wants to say. Okay? So, yeah, you just
have an issue with red flag laws to a certain extent. When it comes to friends and family, putting in red flag laws, great. When it comes to law enforcement, hell to the no. Not in a million years, okay? And I think what would be a benefit.
Now, friends and family can take advantage of red flag laws, but cops can't. Well, guess what? Even if your friends and family are initiating red flag laws, who's going to come get your fucking gun, you idiot? Cops. You see, he supposedly hates cops, but the people that are going to enforce the red flag law are cops. Tell me y'all don't see the idiocy of this man. Tell me why people, like, come on. Tell me y'all don't really think he has an intelligent bone in his body. Or an intellectually honest bone. Ain't no way he don't know that the people that are going to enforce these gun laws that he wants in place are cops. Ain't no way he don't know that. And guess what? All you gotta do is look at the data. There are already red flag laws in certain states that have been abused.
In 10 miles,
right?
Take the exit to merge onto I-20 East.
Friends and family, they can hate your ass. And they can abuse it. And they can incorrectly initiate a red flag law against you and get you killed. Okay? All they need is to be pissed off at you enough. Okay? And it's happened in Washington, D.C. So, in many other instances, people have abused the red flag laws and got people fucked up.
It's red flag laws that there is extreme punishments for you putting in a false red flag law.
Extreme punishment. Oh, you get extreme punishment if somebody uses red flag law. But it's gonna be too fucking late. The damage is fucking done. The damage is done. By the time you are punished for initiating a red flag law falsely, the damage is done. Whatever happened, happened. They were killed, they were jailed, and had to spend time of their life in captivity falsely. The damage is already fucking done. Their property was stolen by the pigs, by the way, who you say shouldn't be able to use the red flag laws, but the motherfuckers gonna come get it. You see how inconsistent and dumb this motherfucker is? He is so fucking stupid. It burns my soul. It burns my soul that he's able to push this bullshit to the people. To people like that. The people that are going to come enforce the red flag law are fucking cops. You fucking dodo brain. You fucking idiot. You fucking wingnut. You fucking douchebag. You fucking clown. You former motherfucking self-hating motherfucker. I changed my mind. I'm the changed amazing look. I used to be a coon ass idiot. Now I'm a non-coon idiot. Look at this guy, dude. Come on, man. Tell me that y'all don't take this dude seriously about when it comes to him trying to talk about shit. Like, friends and family can do it, cops can't. And guess what? If the person abuses the blah, blah, blah and gets you killed or gets your shit stolen or gets you in the hospital or gets you held in captivity, oh, well, they get severe punishment. What a fucking idiot. What a fucking clown. Guess what? They're not going to punish anybody, okay? They're not going to punish anybody. There's not going to be any severe punishment. They're going to let people get away with it. That's the whole point. They're going to let people abuse the system and have you fucked up in the game because you piss somebody off. That's what they want. They want people to abuse this shit. You fucking idiot. They want people to abuse it. Don't you understand that? That's the whole purpose. That's why they expanded it to teachers. Well, in California. That's why California expanded it to teachers, neighbors, okay? Cops. They've extended it. Co-workers. They have extended that shit. They want people to abuse it. They want you to piss somebody off. They want you to scare somebody by showing them your guns at work. And this is what they want. And your dumb ass is feeding right into it. You feed right into it. The status Lucas is worse than the Officer Tatum. Let me tell you all that right now. What Brandon Tatum did say he would kill a 90-year-old woman who called in a burglary if he had to, but he never said that he would hurt somebody's kids, and he never said this guy. Okay, so this guy's just an idiot. Okay, tell me y'all don't understand it. And I won't believe you.
Just like if you put in a false police report, okay, that can result in fines or imprisonment. I think the same thing needs to be applied for that, so that you don't get people, jilted exes or upset family members or whatnot who are trying to retaliate or trying to harm you just to harm you. I think the main issue is that both groups are...
Listen, man, listen. This is the deal, okay? If you commit a crime, then you should be dealt with, right? You should be dealt with. This is the problem with red flag laws, because they're going to take your property under the predication that you might do something based on making someone feel uncomfortable. Oh, he makes me feel uncomfortable. Oh, I don't like that he did that. He showed me his gun. He said it fires this velocity and all this, that, and the third. He said he said he can knock off the side of a barn door or whatever the fuck. He showed me all his guns. He has so many guns and he has so much ammunition. And one day he got real upset at work. He got real upset and he said, F you. I think he might kill me tomorrow. What's to stop that? Like this tell me this fucking if you deserve to have your guns taken away, then that means that you fucking committed a crime against someone. You violated somebody. Not because you hurt somebody's fucking feelings or they're pussy. And they're just intimidated by you because you're so, look at you with all your guns and all that other shit. That's not a reason to violate someone's rights. This man is calling for red flag laws. Like Dan Crenshaw. This dude is calling for red flag laws so that people can call in when they're feeling sensitive that day. Oh, my nipples hurt. And somebody came in and said, you know what? You know what makes me feel good when my nipples hurt? When I go to the range and I just send some rounds down range. Like, tell me this dude is not taken seriously. Tell me this dude is not taken seriously. Okay? Please. My nipples hurt and I went to work and this guy said, your nipples, maybe I'll shoot them off for you. Like, this is like, what?
Polarized. And it's hard to come to conclusions or to make negotiations or to even come to concessions when both groups see themselves as the devil. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe, listen.
Both groups see themselves as the devil? This guy can't even, oh my God, dude. Tell me this motherfucker. Tell me y'all ain't taking this dude seriously. Tell me that y'all don't seriously, but tell me that y'all don't. Tell me that this dude has some sense. Please tell me that y'all don't. Y'all actually believe that? Y'all actually believe this man has any lick of sense whatever so? Whatever so? Do y'all listen, man? I gotta tell you, these talking points. Oh shit, I gotta get over. I mean, like, come on, bro. Does he really believe these things? I think that he's just intellectually dishonest. There's no way he really believes this shit. I think he's got to be trolling, right? He has to be trolling because he's calling for red flag laws. He's calling for mandatory training. He's calling for mandatory training, red flag laws, and yearly evaluations. All of which is not going to stop a mass situation, because that's what this video is about. How is any of that going to stop a mass situation? Oh, I see. You want to make sure that the next mass situationer is well trained and knows how to officially use that weapon. You want to make sure that the next law-abiding mass situationer, who was law-abiding until they mass situationed, is so well trained that they can kill more people. That's what you want. You want them to roll in there, be super efficient and surgical, and roll out, right? That's what you want. What is an evaluation gonna do? What is evaluation gonna do? People change like the fucking wind. People get wild hairs up their ass and they do shit that they would never thought to have be able to do.
Continue onto I-85
right?
South.
I mean, they're gonna, like, people wake up and just like, have you seen Falling Down with Mel Gibson with Michael Douglas? One of the best movies ever made. This dude in Falling Down, Michael Douglas plays this dude who worked at a certain company, and
In 3.3
he got
miles,
fired
take the exit to
from work.
merge onto I-20 East.
And he went on a fucking rampage, okay? Everybody that pissed him off, he killed them, all right? He was a regular guy, looked like fucking Hank Hill, all right? He looked like a Hank Hill that lived in LA, right? The way, because he had the little cut, all this shit. He looked like Hank Hill to me. But anyway, this dude went around, he went to go get what set it off was, he went to go get a burger. No, he wanted breakfast from McDonald's or some shit. And he was like, breakfast was over at 10:30. He got there and was in line and ordered his breakfast at 10:31. And they would not give him his breakfast. So he shot up. Wait, did he shoot up the restaurant? No, he didn't shoot up the McDonald's. He pulled his gun out and waved it around and made them give him his breakfast. Okay? And so after that, he was like, fuck it. I'm going to just go around. He wanted to use a phone booth. Somebody didn't want to get out the phone booth. He wanted to use it because that was back in the day. For those Gen Xers that know, we used to have phone booths. You know, they were little tiny cubicles on the street. They had phones in them with cords. And it went down into the ground and had communication systems. Anyway, he wanted to use his phone, the phone booth, to call his daughter. He wanted to see his daughter that day. He was supposed to go to a party, his daughter's birthday party. And the dude didn't want to get out of the phone booth. So he pulled out his Uzi and shot up the phone booth. The dude got out, but he shot the phone booth. Before that, he was dealing with some cholos, right? The cholos was fucking with him.
Hazard reported.
He didn't have the gun, I don't think, until he encountered the cholo. Was that what happened? I forgot. I need to go watch it again. But anyway, he killed some cholos because they tried to do a drive-by shooting. They flipped their car. He went over, took their gun, and shot the fucking cholo. And that's how he got his first gun. Anyway, the motherfucker was nuts. But before that day, he would have passed the fucking evaluation, okay? He would have passed the evaluation. People, listen, you can't evaluate everybody perfectly. There's no way. Listen, it's not how life works. You can't take someone's rights away before they do something that would warrant that. Because people have bad days and they'll cuss your ass out and they might even threaten you a little bit. But that doesn't mean that they did it. They didn't do shit. They just talked some shit. You're saying that people's property should be stolen because they cussed you out. That's basically what you're saying. Because that's the only way a red flag law works. You don't need a red flag law if they go past that. If they hit you, they assaulted you. Boom, they committed a crime. You call the police. You don't need a red flag law. You need to call whoever is supposed to deal with it and say, hey, this motherfucker put his hands on me. This motherfucker put his hands on me and y'all need to come get him. Oh, he's threatening me with a knife. Like if somebody's threatening you with a knife and they're holding a knife or they're pointing a gun at you, these are things that you don't need red flag laws for.
Take the exit to merge onto I-20 East.
You just have to pick up the fucking phone and call the police or call the private security force, which is better, and you have them come deal with this shit. Or you get your motherfucking gun, which you should have, and you blam them up. End of story. No red flag law needed. Red flag laws are for pussies. Clown Shoe Lucas is a pussy. He's a scared little bitch. That's why he wants red flag laws. Probably because he probably gets threats. I wouldn't put it past people to threaten his ass because he's a monkey mouth motherfucker. He probably gets threatened, okay, on a regular basis because he's an idiot and he talks mad shit to people on the phone because he's insulated. And I know he's a bitch-made motherfucker because when he threatened my kids, I invited him to come and handle the shit. He didn't want to do it. That's how I know his balls are tiny, okay? You know, he don't know how to deal with women because he has to ask people how to give hugs to women. And women, you know, they when they're with him, they think about other men. So listen, this guy, you don't want to listen to him, all right? Red flag laws, I'm gonna just say it, are for pussies that don't know or don't have the capability to defend themselves. Anybody calling for that is a pussy, period. You ain't got no balls, you weak, okay? And you ain't, listen, you need a red flag law? You want a red flag law? You a bitch, okay? Anybody, not just him, because, you know, I'm getting tired of this bullshit. No more, you know, kid gloves. If you want to call the state to come and handle some little petty bullshit that you're dealing with, or you don't like what somebody said, you don't like what somebody showed you on their phone because they're proud that they have a great collection. If you have a problem with any of that and you feel the need to bring the tyranny of the state down onto people for that, then you are a bitch. Period. Period. And we know, or we should know, if you don't know, now you should know, that the clown shoe Lucas is a bitch. All right? He's an idiot, he's a bitch, and he's the same guy who said that he doesn't have a problem with you know, kids going to drag shows. He doesn't have a problem with it, even though one drag show kids went to where a drag queen was wearing a prosthetic vagina or whatever, or prosthetic breasts. Saw was doing his thing, you know, transforming, and saw a kid in the crowd and covered up and was like, what the fuck? If she has a problem with it and the clown shoe Lucas don't, what else might he not have a problem with? He might have one of them Eddie Murphy proclivities. He might have one of them what's that dude name? Kevin Gates proclivities. You know, you heard about Kevin Gates? How she a transformer came out and said, yeah, she like to get the business. Kevin Gates like to get the business. You know, I wouldn't put it past him to, you know, maybe he likes to get pegged. I don't know. But he's the same guy who said that it's okay to have kids to go to drag shows where it says, where there's a sign above the door that says, lick me anywhere, or whatever the fuck. We're talking about this guy, but we're supposed to listen to you in regards to the Second Amendment means and what well-regulated meant and what's the dependent clause and what's the independent clause. We're supposed to trust you on that when you think that children should be able to go to drag shows because listen, the reason he thinks that it's okay is because a Republican might say, you know, if you want to be gay and be a tranny and you're an adult, that's your choice. That led him to believe that it's okay for kids to go to drag shows.
Right to take the exit.
This is the type of man that we dealing with.
Keep left to merge onto I-20 East toward Augusta.
And we're supposed to agree with him. Like, woo! I mean, I tell you what, Bobby. This guy, listen, he gonna get some people fucked off in the game. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get some people fucked off in the game. That's real shit.
Use the left lane to keep left to merge.
Here's the thing about red flag laws, right? He said that you should have severe punishment if you file a false claim. Well,
keep left.
When you initiate red flag laws, you're not doing it because you're reporting a crime, right? You're not doing it because you're reporting a crime. It's because you're saying, I'm afraid of this person. I think he might harm himself or others based on my feelings. So how can you determine if it's false or not? How can you determine that? It's basically hearsay. This is what red flag laws are about. Red flag laws are about circumstantial hearsay. So how is someone going to prove that you made a false claim? How can they determine that? You're not you're not accusing this person of committing a crime. You're saying that you believe that they may one day, possibly, perhaps, at some point in the future, when the stars align and the planets match and the motherfucking snow falls, that and when the sun sets in the east and rises in the west, and the motherfucking wind blows up your ass, that they might do some harm to themselves. This is what you're saying. So how are you going to? Listen, it's not a false fucking report. It's not a false crime. You know what I mean? You're saying that you are afraid of this person because of you're intimidated because you're a little bitch, and they said something you didn't like. So how is that? How are they going to prove that you falsely did that? It doesn't work like that. What happens is a motherfucker is a pussy, and so what do? They go get they tell somebody, they tell the cops, and then the cops go and has an ex parte meeting with a judge, and they say, okay, well, based on this bitch ass motherfucker's pussified feelings, we're going to give you a warrant to go get their firearms. That's what it's about. It's not based on evidence. It's not based on anything like that. It's not based on probable cause. Because if there was probable cause, they wouldn't need to go to a judge first. They'd go straight to where the person is and try to stop them from committing a crime or to punish them for committing the crime.
Speed check reported ahead on I-20
So
East.
there's no way to prove that unless you know, there might be a way to prove it. But typically what happens is the person that had the red flag law curled against them has to prove that they're not a danger to themselves or others. They have to go through evaluations. They have to go do this. They got to go see a psychiatrist. It's not incumbent upon the person accusing you to prove anything. And you don't get to face your accuser in some states. So this whole idea that, oh, you can just, if they file a false report, don't worry about it. They're going to get a severe punishment. That's how much of an idiot this guy is. Either he's that much of an idiot, or he thinks that we're that much of an idiot. I assure you that we are not. I assure you we are not. He's just an asshat. Period. Anyway, enough about that guy. I know I'm supposed to get into just Pearly things. And, you know, I have determined that this is a fucking psychological operation. The more I thought about it, the more I'm like, what is this about? What are they setting us up for? I have no idea right now. I just thought about it. I'm like, man, it's a big fucking fiasco, isn't it? It's a big drama. A lot of players involved. And some players are authentic. I'll shout out two people that I think are authentic about the whole situation. Six the Goddess and Danica Marie. I think they're really, you know. But, you know, the whole way this thing is moving about, it's like, what the fuck? It's like, it's a gimmick to me. I don't know. It's like, just Pearly Things apologizes for the whole thing with Nick Fuentes, where she said that, you know, slavery wasn't that horrible and it was exaggerated to control people, all this, that, and the third. She didn't know, she was ignorant, you know, playing the ignorant card, right? Playing the I didn't know card, playing the, oh, well, that was just stupid. I don't have a lot of information. I don't know much about it. Oh, you know, I'm not an expert on that. I don't have much knowledge about it at all. Then why fucking say it? Anyway. So she apologizes and then goes on to the lead attorney, who's an asshat himself. I have determined that. Not for platforming Pearly Things, because you platform whoever you want. Free country. Just because, you know, he's egging her on and like encouraging this behavior. And she's like, and before that, some black people, big, said, "Oh, we're going to protect you. Don't worry about it, Pearly thinks. You can say whatever the fuck you want about our ancestors. Don't worry about it. We got your back." Most of them were not foundational black Americans. So there's that. So they didn't really give a shit anyway, right? But, she goes on to the lead attorney's YouTube channel and says that he asked her, "Well, why did you apologize?" A lot of people wonder why you apologized. And she said, "Well, it's part of a bigger plan." So that lets you know her apology was bullshit, right? Her apology was bullshit. And then she's talking about how she got eyes out there and she's gonna come for people and all this other shit. It's like, listen, Pearly, stop it. This is YouTube shit, right? This is YouTube shit, and it's really not a good look for you, because if you run into the wrong people, that could be a problem. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. But now I'm thinking like, man, it's just this all this shit, man. It's like people stir up drama, and who knows, man? Maybe she just wanted to stir up drama to get attention, bring attention to herself. I have no idea. But there are a lot of people out there engaging in this, and it's like, maybe that's what she wanted, But she seemed really convinced about slavery not being that horrible and being exaggerated when she was talking to Nick Fuentes. And something interesting was pointed out to me, that when certain people say certain things, she gives pushback if she doesn't believe it, right? If she if she has opposing views about a thing, she'll push back. But she didn't push back with Nick Fuentes. She didn't push back against him. But in reality, he never brought up black people. Well, he did bring up black people when he was talking to that Italian chick who had a black boyfriend. He did do that, but I mean, she didn't push back when he said that. He didn't push back. She didn't push back when he basically went in on her employee who's black. So, I mean, there's that. Listen, the bottom line is this. You can rock with whoever you want to rock with, right? I can rock with whoever I want to rock with.
Stay in the left 3 lanes.
This channel, my channel is not about race. It's not, right? Anybody can come enjoy my channel. But I do call out race baiting and all that other shit. Especially when the right does it, even though they're supposed to be the ones that are calling out the race baiting, but they do it all the time. I try not to, because I know there's good people in every race, right? But I am pro-black. I'm pro-black. I'm not anti-white, but I'm pro-black. And so, it's just because that's who I am, right? That's who I am. That's who I identify with more. That's who, I align with more in my way of thinking. Now, granted, there are a lot of black people that are statists. So, even though I'm pro-black, I'm pro-freedom first. I'm pro-freedom, right? I'm pro-freedom. And I rock with anybody that's pro-freedom until you demonstrate that you're not pro-freedom. Or until you demonstrate that you don't respect black people, right? If I get a whiff, I don't fuck with it. Because some people, they don't have to be hateful toward another group. They can just be freedom-loving individuals. And true freedom lovers, let me tell you something. True freedom lovers don't dwell and focus on race like that. And this is why I'm disappointed with Brian from High Impact Flicks, because every chance he gets, and you know, I was in denial for a little bit, and people came into my chat and said, "Hey, I think he low-key racist," and I'm like, "Nah, not Brian. No, I don't think he's racist. I just think that he doesn't have the black perspective, and he's ignorant on shit." But every time now, I think he might be. You know, every time he does it, not every time he does a video, because I don't really watch the videos no more. I really don't. Like I just don't do it. Because he'll throw some slick shit in there, disparaging black people, and I can't fuck with you, right?
Crash reported ahead on I-20 East
And
to
I
700
have
You're still on the fastest route.
I have his private number. I can call him and say, hey man, what the fuck is going on with this shit? But this is not the first time he's done it, right? He's done it multiple times, and I actually did call him before, and kind of checked him. I checked him because he was saying shit that was inconsistent with his ideology that he pushes. So, and it had to do with disparaging black people. So I called his ass out on it. I called him out. And he seemed to have an understanding. But it happened multiple times after that. And so the last time was when he was talking about Maine, cherry picking data from two completely extremely different states. Talking about, oh, well, in Maine, is mostly white and there's practically no crime. We're talking about Maine, man. We're talking about Maine. It's too cold to commit crimes in fucking Maine. Ain't nobody want to go outside and commit no goddamn crime. Who want to commit crime in Maine? They barely want to do it in Chicago during the winter. But, and then he goes into Baltimore, compares it to Baltimore. Why Baltimore in Maine? Why not Baltimore in Albuquerque? Why compare two completely diametrically opposed regions of the country? Why? And then to suggest, like it was really no, like, what was the point to that, right? Oh, this state or this city, there's blah 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 black people, and there's all this crime and all this shit, and there's in Maine, there's all these white people, and there's practically no crime. So what does that tell you? They don't tell you shit, because it's not a motherfucking. First of all, those aren't good. That's not good. It's not good comparison. But you know, I would even go as far as to say I would compare Baltimore, if we're going to really go there and really be balanced with the data. Ukraine, Baltimore. There's a lot of white people in Baltimore, I mean in Ukraine, fighting amongst each other. Yeah, they're from different countries, right? You got Russia versus Ukraine. You know, a lot of people dying on a daily basis, bombing each other, all that type of shit. You don't see that shit going on in Baltimore. You know, I would do that. I would compare Baltimore to Ukraine. Why not? So, I mean, I guess it's okay if they're at war, right? It's okay for white people to kill each other in large numbers as long as they're at war, right? Is that what we're saying? Because I would venture to say that opposing factions in Baltimore are at war. A war over territory, war over resources, all that type of shit. Maybe a chick kicked it off. I don't know. Who knows? War is war, right? War in Baltimore, war in Ukraine. Why not compare those two? Maine isn't at war. The white people in Maine aren't at war with each other, so why compare that? Compare places that are at war with each other. Compare places that are at peace with each other. Why are we doing that? Because you're a motherfucking racist, Brian. Bottom line to it. You are like the guy that created Dilbert. Are you suggesting that white people should get the hell away from black people? Fine by me. But I thought you were like, I thought he was actually, not about that. But and really there was no context behind it, right? The video was about something different. It was about the banks or some shit. It was about the banking system. But you throw this in there with zero context. So guess what that means? That someone who watches that can interpret it as they see fit, and there's nothing you can say about it because you threw that shit in there without no context. You said nothing. Like you were like, oh, I'm gonna let you guys talk about blah, blah, blah. So,
Speed check reported ahead on I-20.
I have decided to believe that Brian from High Impact Flicks is a racist, and I don't fuck with him no more. I don't watch it. I mean, I do watch videos, but I mean, whatever. So, yeah, that's what it is on that. That's what it is on that. But again, I mean, if he came in and left comments and commented, I wouldn't delete his comments because I believe in free speech. But yeah, I probably wouldn't respond to it. It's like I'm not wasting my time because you're fake. Okay, it's fake. It's fake bullshit, and it's microaggressive. And those are the worst kind of racists. The worst kind of racist is the microaggressive racist, like Pearly thinks. Microaggressive, microaggressive. Just come out and say, hey, and that's what people need to do. If you believe a certain stereotype, you believe a certain way, you think our culture's a certain way, just come out and say it. I'll respect you more. I'll respect you more if you came out and told me, hey, man, I don't really like black people like that. I don't really know a lot of black people, and I've seen movies and all this other. I've seen television shows. I've seen cops. I've seen news stories about black people doing this, that, and third. I think you guys are this, that, and the third, and I would respect that. But don't be fake. That's fake ass shit. Anyway, yeah. So just Pearly things, I'm not surprised. I'm really not, because yeah, it actually you know what raised red flags for me? How she always had black people come on to her panels, like not like it's just in all the black employees she has. I'm like, man, like what is going on here? It's like she's trying extra hard to appear to be inclusive, right? But at the end of the day, you know what she thinks. They're her Africans, right? You see, people want to kind of act like, well, that's not really a big deal, blah, blah, blah. She meant to say her African employees. And it's even King Riches came out and did a little stupid ass parody that, But hey, I mean, when you have Stockholm syndrome, this is what happens. You're indoctrinated. You're mentally indoctrinated. You have been, or you're bought and sold. Because King Richard did say, even if she was racist, like, why would I stop doing what I'm doing? Like, I'm getting paid, right? Boom, there you go. That tells me that, well, maybe he knew she was racist all along. He just didn't give a fuck because he was getting his little money. And that's really sad, man, when you will accept that form of disrespect because you're getting a little bit of money. And come to find out, their contracts ain't really that lucrative. They get 10% of their ad revenue for their channels. So I don't know, man. That's why I said Sean Killings. Maybe she knew. Maybe he knew. And Jenny, Aunt Jenny or whatever the fuck her name is, came out and said, listen, the bottom line is this, man. I'm glad this happened. because it exposes those people that, hey, it makes it easier to know who you can choose to fuck with and not fuck with. That's what it did for me. Anyway, guys, I've been on here for quite a minute. I'm gonna get off of this thing. I think it's been like an hour and a half almost. Yeah. So I'm gonna get off this thing and focus on getting back. I got about 2.5 hours left in my drive. So I'll holler at y'all later. Much love. Like, share, subscribe, and we're gonna keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.